let's look first at multiples. Now if I think multiple, you think multiplication. So the easy way to remember this is you sort of think multiple, multiplication, and then your brain obviously immediately goes times tables. Okay, so multiples, multiplication, kind of think times tables, multiply. So if I have multiples of 2, so you'd have 2, 4, 6, 8, etc. It's just the times tables, it's 2 times table. Multiples of 3, you'd have 3, 6, 9, 12, etc. So it's just the times tables of that number. Then, so multiples is easy to remember because you think multiplication and you're just multiplying. Factors is harder to remember. You can remember it by thinking, I know what multiples is, and it's the opposite. So multiples and factors are opposite, that's quite important to know. And the way I always used to think of it when I was doing GCSE is I always knew that there was a thing called the factor tree. So if you think of factor tree, and then I just picture sort of it going like that down, you know, as a factor tree does. And because I pictured it like that, I knew, oh, it's the numbers that go into that number. So that's just the way, that might not work for you, but that's what I used to think. I used to think factors, factor tree, oh, the numbers that divide into it. So to remember this, I think factor, then I think factor tree, do this in my mind, and then it's the numbers that divide into it. You use a factor tree to find the prime factors, but this is just a way to remember it. We'll go on to finding prime factors in another video. So if we look at an example of factors, the way you can work out, if I said the factors of 12, which you can't really see, so we'll go factors of 12, and I think, oh, that's like, I think factor tree, oh, factors means numbers that divide into it, so then I want all the numbers that divide into 12, so you can just start by writing a list, so 1 times 12 is 12, then take the next number, so 1, 2 times, that would be 6, gives me 12, and then next number 3 times 4 gives me 12, 4 times 3, oh, I've got a repeat, so at that moment I stop, I don't need that one, because it's a repeat. And here I have a list of my factors. So my factors are 1, 12, you know they go into 12 because 1 times 12 is 12 and 12 times 1 is 12. You know that 2 goes into 12 because you can divide 12 by 2, and 6, and 3, and 4. So you can divide 12 by all of those numbers, so they're all the factors of 12. If you got a number we didn't get far enough, but let's say 5 times, and 5 doesn't go into 12, so you just ignore that. That's not a factor. Let's do another example of finding factors. So if I want factors of 24, so I could do 1 times 24, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm just going to write some down. So 2 times, I know 12 is 24, 3 times 8 is 24, 4 times 6 is 24, 5 times nothing, that doesn't work, and then 6 times 4, and here's my repeat. So I stop there, warning sign there. So now I know that these are my factors. I know that you can divide 24 by 1, 24, 2, 12, 3, 8, 4, and 6. It's quite a lot. When I was looking at, let's have a go at some exam questions, they seemed quite nice and all of them seemed quite similar. So a lot of them just give you a list of numbers. So for example, I'll write exam. So they would give you a list of numbers. So I'm going to say 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 12, and then it asked you, this is actually a real life, I'm not making this one up now, multiple of 6, asked you for a factor of 15, so this is why you need to know what these two mean, and a square number. Okay, so first of all, let's look at part I, a multiple of 6, and so we hear in our heads, multiple of 6, we think multiplication times tables, let's multiply 6, let's do our 6 times tables, we have 6, 12, 18, etc. These numbers don't go higher than 12. We notice 6 isn't in there, but 12 is in there, so the answer to this would be 12, that's a multiple of 6, it's in the 6 times table. A factor of 15, so I think factor, and then I know factor tree, so I think, I picture the things going down, I think, it's numbers that divide into it. Okay, so I've got 15, what numbers divide into 15? I have 1 times 15, I have 2 times nothing, 3 times 5, 4 times nothing, 5 times 3, and there's my repeat. So I know the factors of 15 are 1, 15, 3 and 5, but that's not what it's asking me for. It's asking me for which one's in the list. And, I see 5 is in the list, so this one is 5. They were all a very similar style to this. And a squared number, so we know a square number is a number times itself, so we could just write out a few. 1 times 1, 1, 2 squared is 2 times 2, 4. That's not in the list. 3 times 3 is 9. Yes, that is in the list. So a square number from that list is 9. So that's a good example of an exam question. I'll do another one that's very similar. I'll put exam back just so you know it's an exam question. So this time it was a bit weird. It gave you all the numbers but in a box. I'm not really sure why. I think that was supposed to throw you off because you actually had to look in a box, not just in a line. But so we're going to go with it. I'm going to put them randomly in this little box for no reason, to be honest. But there we go. And then it said ask for an even number. It asks for a multiple of 4. And it asks for a factor of 15. Which was the same as last time. So let's give it a go. Even number, we could write out the even numbers 2, 4, 6, etc. But I think we all know an even number means it's divisible by 2. And we only need 1, so first one there, let's pick 8. Nice and simple. A multiple of 4, so I hear multiple, I think multiplication. I think my multiplication table, so times table is 4. So I got 4, 8, 12. So both of those have come up, no need to continue, so I might as well just write down 8 again, because 8 is in the 4 times table, and a factor of 15 again, so if I was just I want to find the factors of 15, I've got 1, 15, 2 times nothing, that doesn't go into 15, 3 times 5, 4 doesn't go into 15, 5 times 3, and there's the repeat. This is literally the same, we just did this one. So I know the factors are, factors of 15, numbers that divide into 15 are 1, 15, 3 and 5. 3 and 5 are both in there, so I'll just choose one, I'm going to go with 3. There we go, so a very similar question, and that just, highlights the importance of knowing the difference between a multiple and a factor.